What's poppin', everyone? It's Scout Eveleth, your local realtor, and today we are going to be talking about the essential tips for home buyers here in the Villages, Florida. So in today's video, we'll be covering how you might only be seeing half the homes available here in the Villages, hidden costs that can sneak up on you if you're not careful, and whether you should go for that shiny new build or a pre-owned gem here in a prime location. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, or just wanting to stay up to date on everything that's happening here in the Villages, Florida, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. Also, be sure to check out my new website, scoutthevillages.com, for the best way to see homes for sale here in the Villages, Florida, and that is linked at the top of the video description down below. Well, thank you so much, and let's get right into it. Alright, so you've picked the Villages as your next big adventure. So you've heard the stories, you've seen the photos, or you've checked out the endless amenities the Villages has to offer, and you're ready to dive into the good life. But then you may start looking at homes, and suddenly things start to feel pretty overwhelming. Now, buying a home here isn't exactly like buying a home wherever you're coming from, and that is even if you're already living here in the state of Florida. There are different rules, different agents, and everything feels like a whole different language. It might seem like real estate in a parallel universe, and it's totally normal to feel this way. But the good news is you don't have to go through this alone, and hopefully this video should serve as a guide when you decide to take the plunge and buy a home here in the Villages. Alright, so let's kick things off with one of the most common and possibly most sneaky curveballs that throws many buyers off their game. So let's talk about the VLS, the MLS, and knowing the difference between the two. Now, this one's a biggie, and most buyers in the Villages don't realize that there is two completely different real estate worlds operating side by side here in the Villages. So, depending on which one you're in, the experience can look very different overall. But here's the scoop. About 99% of the United States uses something called the MLS, or the Multiple Listing Service. This is where homes listed by real estate agents show up together for buyers and buyers agents to see, and it's what you see when you're looking at homes on websites like Zillow, Redfin, or Realtor.com. But the Villages has its own sales team called Properties of the Villages, and they do not use the MLS at all. They list their homes on a private system called the VLS, and those listings don't show up on any of those regular real estate websites. Now here is where that difference really matters. The VLS is exclusive to homes listed by the Villages sales agents. These homes are often new construction, with some retail homes that are also in the mix as well. And the MLS includes homes listed by licensed realtors like myself, or agents that you've likely worked with in the past, and this offers a much wider selection of pre-owned homes, which you will not find on the VLS. So, depending on which side you're working with, you'll see totally different homes for sale. It's kind of like going to two different grocery stores where each one will have similar but different products for sale. But now, here's the main takeaway. MLS agents, like myself, specialize in selling pre-owned homes, and the VLS agents typically specialize in selling new construction homes. So, if you plan to purchase a new construction home, I would recommend reaching out to the VLS directly, but if you're interested in a pre-owned home, then I would contact an MLS agent like myself. This should give you a good starting point, knowing the VLS and MLS are not connected, they're not sharing any type of data, and they operate with totally different strategies and agents behind them. So after you understand that, you're ahead of probably about 80% of other people. But now you've wrapped your head around pre-owned homes and new construction homes, so the next surprise usually hits your wallet, so let's talk about some of the costs associated with living here. My next tip is all about the numbers, but not the ones you see associated with the price tag. The list price here in the Villages is really just a starting point, and if you're budgeting based on that alone, unfortunately you will be in for a rude awakening. The biggest cost curveballs are really going to be the CDD fees and the monthly amenity fees. So here's how it works. When a new section of the Villages gets built, the developer will finance pretty much all of that infrastructure, and that is going to be things like roads, landscaping, utilities, and they do all of this using a municipal bond. Now, the cost of this bond is split amongst all the homes in that area, and you pay your share through what is called a Community Development District, or CDD fee. Your standard housing budget should really include your mortgage if you plan on having one, your home insurance, utilities, and the monthly amenity fee. And this is going to give you access to the amenities, which is things like pools, recreational centers, golf, etc. Then, separate from all of that, you have your annual CDD fees, including the bond payment, your fire assessment, and your maintenance fee. And remember to always ask about the bond balance, whether you're just inquiring about a home or you're seeing one in person. On a brand new home, the bond could be anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000 or more, and your payment towards that is always tacked onto your annual property tax bill each year. But what about the older neighborhoods? Well, that bond might already be paid off, which could potentially save you thousands of dollars each year. Knowing this, if you are looking at two completely different homes with the same list price, you can understand how they could have a very different cost overall. So remember, don't just ask how much is this house, ask how much will it be to live here. Trust me, your wallet will definitely thank you. Okay, so now you know about some of the hidden costs to watch out for, but what kind of home are you actually going to buy? Well, that brings us to one of the biggest decisions that you'll make. And that would be, should you buy a new construction home or should you buy a pre-owned home? Now, this is a classic real estate fork in the road. Do you go brand new or do you go pre-owned? Now, on paper, it sounds like an easy pick. I mean, who doesn't love that fresh paint smell and a shiny new kitchen? But in the villages, it's not that simple, so let's talk about new construction first. Being the first owner of a property is awesome. You get all the modern finishes, usually a builder warranty, and high efficiency everything. But the majority of new homes that are being built is going to be in the southern section of the villages. Now, some people don't mind this, knowing that it will be a great area eventually, but that area is still growing and developing at the moment. So you could be waiting a while for all the bells and whistles, and it could also take a while for all the surrounding development and landscaping to mature. But now let's talk about pre-owned or resale homes. These homes are often in more established and more centrally located parts of the villages. They've usually got mature landscaping, may have tighter knit communities, and you're often just a quick golf cart ride to most of the action, and that is going to be things like Lake Sumter Landing, Brownwood, or Spanish Springs Town Square. Now, the bond will also be lower or potentially paid off altogether on these pre-owned homes. Now, the homes may need some updating, but sometimes the previous owner already did a lot of the heavy lifting, and you're able to score a house with granite countertops without any of the upcharge or hassle. And funny enough, resale homes can actually cost more than brand new ones of similar size and layout. Now, why is this? Well, it comes down to one of the number one rules of real estate, which is going to be location, location, location. So be sure to ask yourself, do you want the sparkly new build in a growing area, or would you prefer a move-in ready gem in the heart of it all? There really is no wrong answer here, but definitely it's worth thinking about depending on what you value most. So now that you understand more about the new versus resale market, let's zoom out a little bit. No matter how pretty a house is, the biggest question you should be asking is, does it fit your lifestyle? A great question that comes up from time to time is, should you choose based on your lifestyle or should you choose based on the house? And honestly, this really depends. For some people, it's not about the house, and it's more about the main draw of the villages, which is the lifestyle itself. Now, I know, we can all get sucked into the floor plans, the kitchen upgrades, and all the extras, but here in the villages, if you pick the wrong location, even the most beautiful home can end up being a poor fit over time. A suggestion I sometimes make is to keep your lifestyle in mind as you home shop or what you plan to do here in the villages. Asking questions like, what do you want your day-to-day life to feel like? Are you a pickleball fanatic, a line dancing person, or maybe a dedicated golfer? And would you rather spend happy hour at Brownwood or possibly brunch at Spanish Springs? If you fall in love with a home down south, but your friends and favorite spots are way up north, you're looking at a long and potentially battery-draining commute, and for most people, that gets old pretty quick. So my advice is try it out. Get in your car or golf cart, drive the routes, go to the grocery store, see how long it really takes to hit the recreational centers or town squares. You can always change out the countertops later, but you cannot change your zip code, so finding a spot that fits your goals, then the right house will usually follow. Alright, so you've narrowed it down a bit, maybe you've got your eye on a couple areas or even a few homes, but before you make any final moves, here is the smartest thing that you can do. Always, always, always try before you buy. The Villages has so many opportunities to come preview everything that it has to offer. You can easily rent a furnished home for a few days and live here just like a local. And during your stay, be sure to get a residential ID card, a golf cart, and go try out as much as you can without overdoing it. It's the perfect test drive, but for your future retirement home. Use this time to go to a rec center in the middle of the day, hit up the neighborhood pool, maybe try out an executive golf course, run a few errands in your golf cart, and chat with a few people who you meet along the way and ask them what they love and what they might have done differently. This firsthand experience is golden, and it gives you clarity you'll never get from a website, a YouTube video, or stories from a friend or family member. And by the time you leave, you won't be guessing what life might be like here, you'll know. And that confidence is absolutely priceless. Alright, so let's bring it all home with a quick recap to make sure that you're walking around with all the good stuff locked in. The first point was there are two real estate markets here in the Villages, which is the VLS and the MLS, and depending on if you're looking for a new construction or pre-owned home, make sure to keep both of those in mind. The second thing was to always look beyond the list price. Ask your agent about the bond and CDD fees so you know the true cost of ownership over time. The third thing was the new builds are always really nice and shiny, but resale homes might give you a better location and value. Number 4 was to think about your lifestyle before you start looking at homes and make sure that it's going to be a good fit long term. And number 5, most importantly, be sure to come visit and test things out for yourself. Buying in the Villages is definitely a unique process, but you don't have to figure it out alone. With these tips, you're not just prepared, you're basically an insider, so I really do hope you found them helpful. With these, you'll be skipping a lot of the most common mistakes and making the most of buying your home here in the Villages. But what do you think? Or was there something that I didn't cover and you still have questions about? Be sure to drop a comment down below and I'll make sure that I get it answered or addressed. And if you found this video helpful or enjoyable, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. And with that said, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and until next time.